Hello and welcome to a special edition of Halloween Havoc. Coming up to Halloween virtually in the next couple of days, I thought I'd use this moment to do a retrospective on a particular title, and that's the Ghostbusters franchise. Review the games, all the games brought to you on the consoles, all the way up to present day itself. So we're going to go all the way back to 1984, it is. When the first game came out for Ghostbusters, that was on the NES. Activision brought to us this title. Everyone remembers the whole Ghostbusters thing at the start. Basic map, drove around with Ecto 1. This car was equipped with lots of different equipment, with a ghost traps and a vacuum cleaner. For some reason, Ghost Vacuum, where you could suck up the ghosts en route to the different calls. It didn't make a lot of sense, but apparently it was important to do so. You had to also stop these ghosts reaching this point, or calling out Zoo. The result of you doing this, where you had two Ghostbusters catching ghosts and trapping them to get money, and this covered your PK energy. Once the PK energy got to a massive surge, Marshmallow Man came out, and ultimately you got to fight Zoo, as you can see here. The more Ghostbusters that survived the staircase climb, the more you got to the end boss itself. Now moving on, the next one en route was the real Ghostbusters. The arcade version, as pictured here, coincided with the cartoon itself as real Ghostbusters came out, and they brought out this game on the arcade systems itself. And as you can see, it's the biggest pile of mess I've ever seen. Ghosts were incoherent, laser beams or the proton packs were terrible, random music as you can hear, and it just looked like a mess on screen. Extra levels later on didn't look any much better. You hear it sounds like machine guns now more than proton packs. It makes no apparent sense. Occasional perks of Slimer and other things, but you can't really call this a Ghostbusters game in its own right. It just looked like a mess. All it's just doing is changing the background. Yeah, changing up routes, Ghostbusters 2 came out at the cinema, resulting in, you guessed it, more Ghostbusters games. It kicked off the Amiga version. Everyone remembers this. This had the worst music ever. The Ghostbusters Amiga game had weird ass techno music. It didn't make a lot of sense, but the game itself had good core elements. Stay close to the film itself. Here you got the Van Horn drop, where Ray went down. Got the stature limiting level as well, so keeping all with the same instance of the game. The probably downside is this ending, because this end of this game looks terrible. This doesn't make a lot of sense, as you can see here. Gone into this isometric view. look how Darth Vigo is walking into this beam. Yeah, that's how stupid Vigo is. Yeah, the game wasn't that good. Ghostbusters 2 for the Game Boy was cute. It had some nice music. It also had all 4 playable characters that actually looked like the playable characters of actually the series. Even had Winston in it. Winston was left out of a lot of games, mainly because people were being racist, or for some reason or Winston was neglected most of the time, which is kind of funny in its own right. Game resulted in you chasing ghosts and catching a ghost trap. and just wandering around the level getting keys and collecting all the ghosts within a time limit. Very well constructed and a nice wee game, solid. The music was a bit repetitive, as you can hear. But it was a fun game to play. I do have this one, I remember having this on the Game Boy. Ghostbusters 2 also was out on the NES. Some nice music it had, but the game looked like tripe. This is Van Horn level. It was very colourful, but they didn't do a lot to it. Not a lot of thought in this one. What's the flying Ghostbusters symbols? Don't know what the ghosts doing there, dropping poo in my face, but it looks like spiders. It doesn't make a lot of sense. The Ghostbusters symbols just look hilarious. But this doesn't make any much sense to the actual movie itself. It's just somebody ripped the piss. I don't get much what this game is about. Well, more or less the levels just look like this. Just like side-scrolling levels where you didn't really do much. And the car levels. Well, when you jumped in the car, you just had to drive around the barricades. It's more like a session of Olympic Games than it was actually Ghostbusters. The other levels looked exactly identical, different backgrounds, and that was just about it. Very lack of originality. Mega Drive had their own version of Ghostbusters that came out shortly afterwards, where the guys looked very chubby and cartoon-like, as you can see here. The levels looked roughly the same. This one shows you Vigo the Carpathian coming at the wall and deciding to try and eat you. Looks like Metroid or Microvania. Any of these games in the Super Nintendo roughly looks the same there. But this did make a lot. This kinda makes sense, but not really. Has its own story in its own right, where there was a mystical tablet somebody took and they were controlling all the ghosts and they didn't have the power, know what power they had. So original script put in here, even though the guys looked a bit chubby and cartoony like. I like to put their own twist to this. And of course, with the music in the background, the music's pretty awesome. Sounds good in the background there, so definitely not too bad a game, even though it was a bit weird when it got to levels. Moving on. Real Ghostbusters again. And again, you guessed it, the Real Ghostbusters license was never one of the best strong points. Every time they made one of these real Ghostbusters games, they're really bad. This doesn't make a lot of sense. It's got the music running in the background all the way through. This looks like Peter collecting stars with question marks, which don't make a lot of sense. And what the heck is that? Looks like a vacuum cleaner. Yeah, what the... What, playing Zelda or something? Collecting keys? What? Comedy? That's very comical. And actually, I think this is Zelda. Look at the witches and stuff like that, collecting stars, and you got a... Looks like a vacuum cleaner when he pulls out his proton pack. Yeah, that's really killing things, that one. Or just cleaning the floor, one of the two. Don't get that at all. It looks terrible. It's not one of the bestest shots for the license, this one. I've seen better games. Well, if you thought that was bad, here is the biggest pile of piss going. Extreme Ghostbusters, there was 3 versions of this game. 3, 2, 1, are you ready for this? Piece of diarrhea. Collecting clocks in Ecto 1. Yeah, that's pick up a Ghostbusters game or drive it Ecto 1. Collecting clocks, yeah. That's really Ghostbusters-like, isn't it? Extreme Ghostbusters was extremely bad. Every time they made this license, much like the real Ghostbusters, they never really made a decent game. The game looks terrible. I've seen Game Boy Advance. and they seem to bring them out. And people were as much interested in making a copy of this game as they were actually making the cartoon. Because the cartoon was just as bad. Not to say all these type of games weren't that bad, because on iOS they have got the same music from the actual film itself, and some of the characters did a twist in the story. And this iOS version of Ghostbusters looks actually quite good. Probably one of the ones I would probably recommend. I didn't know this one existed until I looked into the game franchise and realised this had been made. This is a lovely title you can get for your iPhone. To one side. All the sounds are brilliant. Looks great to look at. Like you're in a wee game, movie. There's all sorts of things to do, a lot of good acting, and the interactions, it's touch based. Just clicking on screen actions to use the weapons, use the skills. Got a medic there, somebody with a proton blaster, and somebody with a slime blower that looks remotely like Winston. These guys look nothing like the Ghostbusters, but it's not a problem. The only way to avoid the licensing. Now, coming on to the most famous game. Everyone knows it. Everyone feels it. This one surged the franchise to be the best Ghostbusters game that anyone's ever seen. Based on what's believed to be the Ghostbusters 3 movie, Ghostbusters the video game looks to be on the script in the movie, so it's a brilliant game and probably something they should bring out again if they want to spend more time making another game like this, because this game's amazing. Got multiplayer action as well. This is a single player, but the multiplayer is amazing also, so truly outstanding what they did with this game. So hoping for to make another one like that. Instead we have this Sanctum line. Sanctum line with a multiplayer game. We've got 4 Ghostbusters here. It looks pretty good. It's multiplayer version and it tries to stick to the stories, but it's not the same Ghostbusters. These are someone else. Random 4 guys, token black person. And it looks pretty decent. There's got a few people saying the difficulty actually finding footage for this, so I managed to scour through and find some on YouTube. This one of the boss fights itself. But the game has you riding in the back of Ecto 1, fighting bosses. All looks pretty frantic on screen, very good play, and the fact you can multiplayer, you can all work together. It's a bit different to your Ghostbusters, a video game, so definitely something you can just jump on and play. This is available on Xbox and all sorts of platforms. This is the Xbox version you're watching here. And it's even got the licensing for the music. Really nice game. Worth taking a look at. The last one on this group would be Paranormal Blast. Paranormal Blast is on the iOS. Again, it's on your Apple iPhones. And virtually a blasting aliens itself. Ghosts. And technically busting them, you can level up. And you level your equipment. And may as catch ghosts. So nice wee sort of game to pick up on your iPhone itself on the App Store. Well, and that's your kind of tour of all the Ghostbusters franchise games. There was a few ones I missed out. Of course, Extreme Ghostbusters, there was another couple there. There was a few different versions of the first one. But definitely something that I hope to see more in the future. Some good Ghostbusters games. You've seen some of the bad, you've seen some of the good. But yeah, that's a history of Ghostbusters, the video game. It's been DJ Royster. Thank you for your time.
Why do the good ones always play hard to get?
That's your cue, rookie! Block the exits! Hit it with slime!